Welcome. In today's video, we're going to walk through how to build this concealed cabinet. For materials, we're going to need 7 1x2x6s, 3 1x6x6s, 2 2-foot by 3-foot 1/2 inch plywood, 14-inch cabinet slides, 1 cabinet lock set, 1 box of 1 1/4 inch pocket hole screws, wood glue, sandpaper, wood putty, wood stain, polyurethane, razor blades, star stencil, red stain, blue stain, and a 30-inch French cleat. Tool list includes a miter saw, circular saw, drill, propane torch, pocket hole device, orbital sander, and a Dremel. We're going to start off by cutting 2 pieces of 1x6x34 inches for our cabinet frame, and 6 pieces at 1x6x16.5 inches. Next, we're going to set our pocket hole device at a thickness of 3/4 inches. And set the drill bit at 3/4 inches as well. We're going to drill 2 pocket holes on each side of 2 of the boards that are 1x6x16.5 inches. Next, we are going to change our pocket hole settings. The thickness will be set to 7/8 of an inch and the drill bit to 5/8 of an inch. This will prevent our 1 1/4 inch pocket hole screws from going through the plywood. We will use our drill and 1 1/4 inch pocket hole screws to assemble the frame. Next, we will set our frame on top of one of the pieces of plywood and outline the cut for the back of our cabinet. This should be approximately 34 inches by 16.5 inches. We will join the frame and plywood together using wood glue and 1 1/4 inch pocket hole screws. Next, we are going to take our remaining 4 pieces of 1x6x16.5 inches and glue 2 pieces to each side. While we let that dry, we will go ahead and measure and cut our cabinet shelves. You should have 1 piece at 1x6x29 inches and 1 piece at 1x6x8 inches. We will need to use our pocket hole device again. We need to verify that the thickness is set to 7/8 of an inch and the drill bit is set to 5/8 of an inch for the pocket holes that we join into the plywood. Then switch the thickness to 3/4 of an inch and the drill bit to 3/4 of an inch for the pocket holes that we join into the 1x6s. We will fill in the pocket holes with some wood putty and sand this off before we apply our stain. For our stripes, we will need to cut 13 pieces at 1x2x36 inches. Next, we will take our propane torch and lightly burn all 13 stripes. Once this is complete, we will use our orbital sander and 100 grit sandpaper to sand the burnt areas of the stripes. Next, we will take our stencil and outline where our stars will be located at. We will use our razor blades and lightly tap them in where we drew our stencil line at. Now we will apply our stain. For this project, I use Minwax Semi-Transparent Navy and Semi-Transparent Barn Red. You simply wipe on the stain, let it sit for about 2 minutes, and wipe it off with a towel or a t-shirt. Once the stain is completely dry, we will use wood glue and clamps to join the stripes together. I recommend keeping a wet towel nearby to wipe off any excess glue that comes through. Now we need to cut our second piece of plywood that will be joined to the back of our stripes. This will be 17 3/4 of an inch by 29 1/4 of an inch. You will want to measure to make sure that your piece of plywood sits exactly in the middle of your stripes. We will join the two pieces together using wood glue and clamps. Once that dries, we need to do a dry fit of the two pieces to identify how large of a notch we need to cut out of our shelf for our cabinet lock to pass through. Once you identify this, just take your saw and cut that notch out. Next, we will apply a stain to the cabinet. For this project, I use Minwax Hickory Gel Stain. You brush it on, let it sit for approximately 2 to 3 minutes, and wipe it off with a towel or a t-shirt. For our stars, we will attach our stencil again and outline the stars with a pencil. We will use a Dremel 105 to outline the stars. And a Dremel 106 to fill the stars in. Once we have the stars engraved, we will lightly hit them with our propane torch to help blend them in with the white stripes. Next, we will apply a couple coats of polyurethane to help protect the cabinet. It's now time to attach our 14-inch cabinet slides. I center my slides up and attach using the provided screws. I then sit the stripes on top of the cabinet, line it up, verify that it's straight, and attach the cabinet slides from the bottom with the provided screws. You might need to separate the two pieces and add some additional screws to ensure a secure fit. Next, we will need to attach our cabinet lock. As you can see here, I'm going to identify where it needs to go and then attach to the back of my plywood. Once we reattach, we are going to take the top piece and hit it against the cabinet. This will give us a little notch in the cabinet so we can identify where the second piece of the lock needs to go. Now for the moment of truth, we are going to verify that the cabinet lock works correctly. I picked up a heavy-duty 30-inch French cleat to attach the cabinet to the wall and used all the screws that were provided. I then identified a couple studs to make sure I had a secure connection to the wall. I attached the second part of the French cleat to the wall, making sure to hit the two studs with the provided drywall screws. I then attached the cabinet to the wall. I would recommend to have someone help you with this step, as this bad boy is heavy.